I swear I'm a film critic. Hello, movie people. Welcome to a new episode of the CineGuy. I'm your host, Steven Angulo. Let's talk film. Now, for today's movie, it's a film unlike any other. Why? Because what I saw is not your typical, movie, so to say. This was a genius outlook into the worlds of poverty and wealth. It shows two worlds colliding into what you believe to be a comedy drama about society. However, it slowly delves into a commentary in the darkness of this world that we live in. It perfectly blends comedy, drama, and suspense until you're left in your seat wondering, what exactly am I even seeing? This is just too trippy. And oh my gosh, I think my mind has been more boggled than a Christopher Nolan movie. And it truly was. It's Parasite. The story of a poor family tricking a really rich family into giving them jobs, which seems like, a little kooky little adventure they're going on, until they uncover something sinister within the house. Now, I know with that being said, you're probably thinking, is this a horror film? What is going on? Well, you're about to find out. And before we get into the whole sinister part, let's meet our two families, shall we? We've got the Kim family, a family living in poverty as they're struggling to survive in this world. So you can tell they don't really have much. They live in this little basement apartment, all one little floor. It's just one little floor, pretty much. It's like the same size as a convenience store, pretty much. And I'm talking about I'm talking about the one you see at a corner of your house. That's how small this little apartment was to see four people. And yeah, they're struggling. Oh my gosh, they whether it be stealing Wi-Fi from a nearby cafe, which they had to go into the bathroom just to get the connection, or selling folded pizza boxes. So how are they gonna make it? But despite the struggle being so real, what makes this family so likable is the fact that despite the position that they're in, they always have high spirits. They always work together great as a team, and that just what makes every character in this movie just so likable. And you're I relate to you, and you know what? You're just amazing, so to say. And amongst them is the leader, who is their son. Let's call him Kevin, because that's the name that he's given by the other family. He instigates this scheme to get his entire all the members of his family jobs within this rich family, after getting a position as an English tutor for their teenage daughter. Which brings us to the rich family, the Parks. They look like your typical middle class American family, only they got money. The house does not look like a huge mansion. You're oh, these people have to be rich. No, it looks like a typical house you could buy I don't know, in LA or something. A little penthouse. They have the giant window overseeing the backyard. They have a second floor. It may not seem like much, but to the Kims, that seems like a lot right there. And they are pretty much a typical family. We got the rebellious teenage daughter, the out of control little son, the worrisome mother, and the working father. So when you first meet them, you think, oh, they seem pretty normal. Okay, so the poor family's gonna scheme their way into getting jobs from them, which, okay, go poor family. So once Kevin gets a job as the English tutor, he then gets his sister, let's call her Jessica, that's what they call her. That's what the French people call her, into becoming an art tutor for the little boy, who he likes to draw, but his paintings have a much deeper meaning, which we're about to find out. The father, Mr. Kim, he gets a job as a chauffeur, while the mom, Chun, becomes the housekeeper. Now, the way they get these jobs is just really, really comical. To get Mr. Kim the chauffeur job, Jessica plants her underwear into the car to make it look like the chauffeur is a pervert. Thus, they let the chauffeur go, and now the position is open for Mr. Kim. And as for the housekeeper, they literally poison the old one who has a peach allergy, and it makes it look like she's diseased, like tuberculosis. And that scares the mom, like, oh no, we can't have her near the little boy. You're fired. Hey, Chun, come on down, work for us. Oh man. So yeah, while you're there cheering for this family, like, hey, awesome. They're finally working. They have a better life now. You think something has to go wrong. And it does. So one night when the Parks are out of town, the Kims are just enjoying the house, living the rich life for once. And you think, okay, they're just chilling. Everything's going pretty well. Until the old housekeeper comes back. And next thing you know, she shows a hidden bunker underneath the house that's hiding somebody. It's her husband who has been living down there for almost 4 years. Now, this is where the sinister part comes. You start to wonder, what are the Parks hiding? Is this man their prisoner? Like, in a way, it does show, like, the difference between, like, rich and poor folk. Because to the rich people, anyone below them is just, they're common folk. They're peasants. We don't really care about them. So the fact that they're hiding a man down there kind of shows, like, okay, they just don't care about humanity. They only care about themselves. Anything that keep them in power. And you do believe this man is there just like work for them for free, because he's the one who controls their lights with like buttons inside the bunker. So this is like, oh my gosh, this took a dark turn, and the Parks are like, oh, this just shows a commentary as like rich people suck, like previous other films. But no, as it turns out, that man's been living down in that bunker to avoid loan sharks. And of course, you're living underground for so long. There's no sunlight, no air. He's driven insane. And the worst part is the housekeeper threatens to expose the family in order to get their jobs back, and so that her husband can finally be free. But no, after a brief altercation, that's not what happens. No, the old housekeeper and the husband, let's just call him the parasite, because in a way he's technically the parasite that lives in the house. They're forced back in the bunker by the family when the Parks come back, and everything just goes wrong. Like, the housekeeper ends up, breaking her head, and the parasite just tied up like an animal. And in a way, he is an animal. He's no longer human. He's just, I need to get out of here. Now, as the movie progresses, you can see that the Kims show sympathy to these people, because, like, especially when they try and bring them food. But humanity, once twisted, does come back to bite you. That's where the birthday party scene comes in. So, when Kevin goes down to help out the crazy couple, the parasite escapes and tries to kill the Kim family. And craziness ensues. Like, the parasite stabs Jessica, has to fight off Chun while Mr. Kim is trying to, stop the knife wound and stop the bleeding. What do all the rich people do? Well, the Parks show their true colors when, let's just say, the little boy actually passed out because, he was traumatized. The parasite was the same guy that he saw late at night that, scared him pretty much. And that gave his drawings deeper meaning, because he was drawing the parasite, the face and the white eyes. That explains why he was drawing that stuff. So during the whole fight, what did the Parks do? Oh no, my little boy is passed out. Mr. Kim, give me the keys. We gotta escape. Like, first of all, we have a lady fighting a deranged man and a girl who's bleeding to death. And the thing you're worried about is that, oh, my little boy is passed out. Like, you couldn't have pushed off the parasite and, maybe tackled him and stopped him to save Chun, and then carry Jessica hey, hurry, get in the Benz, we gotta take her to the hospital. No, it shows that the rich people only care about themselves, and to them, two common folk fighting each other, it means nothing to them. And let's just say Mr. Parkes was coming to him because once he gets the key to the Benz that Mr. Kim just throws at him, and he reacts to the horrible smell that the parasite has, Mr. Kim stabs him. Yeah, I know. Trippy. Man, and honestly, I don't even know if he deserved that. Like, I mean, yeah, they were scumbags. Like, at first you think, okay, maybe the Parks care about the Kims because they're so nice to them. But no, they don't care. To them, they're just servants. That's what he told Mr. Kim when he told Mr. Kim, hey, dress up as an Indian to, like, surprise my boy. You have no say in this because you're just a paid servant. So, yeah, like, oh my gosh, it's just so trippy. Like, that situation could have been played out so differently. Like, if the Parks had intervened and, like, helped out the Kims, none of this would have happened. No. None of that would have happened. Because the ending, oh my gosh, it really has you, like, rubbing the back of your neck as in, man, I kind of wish this would have been a little bit more happier, to be honest. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you gotta go watch the movie to find out. Now, on a technical level, the cinematography is so beautiful that it actually shows the parallels between the rich and the poor. Especially that one scene where the Kims are trying to escape. This is the night, like, after they fight off the deranged couple. They're trying to escape the house once the Parks fall asleep to, like, make sure they don't catch them. But once they go outside, it's raining so hard that all you see is them, like, walking down to their home. You can see it's like the ruinous ghetto part of South Korea that they live in, and their home becomes flooded. And it's all sewage too, so that's just, oh my gosh, it's just terrible. They're all cold and wet, and they're forced to sleep with other, like, villagers in the gym. While the Parks, what are they doing? They're comfy and they're soft, smooth, like Satan PJs, sleeping dry in a nice warm home. So, yeah, it does show you that there are people out there living differently than we are. And even when we think we have a lot, there are those who don't. And, like, here's the thing. A rich person could have a lot, while the poor person could have nothing. But in the end, the poor person is really the wealthy one because of who they are. If you ask me, the Kims are the real rich people because they're actually a family that cares about each other. They work together, and despite all these hard times, they don't give up. While the Parks, they're like, we're rich. We don't need to worry about anything. And they're barely together. It's more like just spoiling the little boy and, being themselves. So, like, yeah. It's a great commentary, and I applaud Bong Joon-ho for giving us a movie that, to be honest, we kind of need in today's society. Alright, so for my rating, ladies and gentlemen, history is about to be made because I give this film a perfect 10 geographical stones out of 10 crazy people living in bunkers. That's right, history has been made. This is the first movie I have ever reviewed in, like, ever since I started doing CineGuy, in which I gave a perfect 10. Everything else was either like a 9 point something or even like a 5 something. No, Parasite is a perfect 10. It is the best movie of 2019. I'm calling it. Sorry, Joker. And you know what? I hope it wins big at the Oscar. Whew, that was fun. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you did, subscribe and join the crew. And we'll see you next time for another awesome review. Also, do check out the Oscars coming up this weekend, and I'm excited. This is going to be so much fun. Oh, I cannot wait for this. It is going to be a really, really fun award season. Oh, I made my picks on my podcast at Real Movie News on CertainPOV.com, and ooh, one can only hope what's going to come next. Until next time, this is Steven Angulo signing off. That's a wrap.